Okay, so to begin the DIY, all I did was I took my pillowcase out of the cover and then I turned the pillowcase inside out. Now I'm just going to cut off the end that is sewn, because we want with this pillow to have two open ends. And you don't have to worry about cutting it perfectly straight, because we will be folding the end over. Okay, so now both ends are open. Now the next step is I'm going to take my pillowcase, and again, make sure you have your pillowcase inside out, and I'm just going to take the bottom and bring it up. So now I folded it in half, just like that. Now I'm just going to take my pins and pin this in place. For this DIY project, I will be using the craft fabric glue from the Dollar Tree. So because it doesn't set right away, I just want to make sure that I have both ends in place. And this way, when I apply the glue to the fabric, then I know that the pins will keep it down, as well the clamps that I will be using just to hold it in place. Okay, so this is the fabric glue that I'm using. It is by Craft Metally, and it dries clear. It has a flexible bond. It is machine washable, sets quickly, and is permanent. So this is my first time using this glue, and I actually really like this. Okay, so to apply this glue, what I found easier for me is just to go ahead and take the whole cap off. And I just took a paintbrush, just apply some glue to the paint brush, and then I just brush this on. Now you don't need a lot of glue. What I really love about this glue is that you do get a nice bond. The glue does adhere to the fabric really well and gives it a really nice bond. And then as I'm gluing this down, I go ahead and take the pin out, and then I just take my clamp and then just clamp that down, just to keep it nice and snug together. So now I'll go ahead and apply the rest of the glue, and then we'll move on to the next step. I have finished applying the glue to my fabric. Now, just to point out or give you a little tip, with this fabric glue, less is more. You really do not need to apply a lot of glue to the fabric in order for this fabric to adhere. Very little really makes the fabric adhere nicely. I think also because it is a very thin fabric, since it is a pillowcase, you really do not need a lot, and I think that that would help as well with not seeing so much of the glue. So this is why I really like applying it with the paintbrush, because I could just take some glue on my brush, paint it onto the fabric. I can, you know, place the glue wherever I want, then fold my other piece on top. I just smooth it out with my hands and then clamp it in place. Now, it does not take a lot for this glue to set together. Obviously, it's not like hot glue where when you apply it right away it's bonded. This does take just a little bit, and it does recommend 2 to 4 hours drying time. But what's great is that after 48 hours it is washable, so that's great as well. I really do recommend this fabric glue from the Dollar Tree. If you haven't tried it, I suggest you do, because it does give you a really nice strong bond, and it's just really great to work with. It's flexible as well, which is really nice. So now I'm going to let this dry between 2 to 4 hours, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so I have removed my clamps. Now I'm just going to take the pillowcase and I'm going to turn it the right way so that that seam that we just glued is now on the inside. Now, as I lay this down, I'm going to lay it so that that seam is laying right in the center here. Okay, because I want to cover that. I don't want it to be seen. I just want it to be smooth all the way around. So what I'm going to do to cover that is I'm using the burlap ribbon, the black polka dot, and I just cut a piece that will go from one end of the pillowcase to the other, and I left about 1/2 inch overhang for each side because I will be gluing that inside of the pillowcase. So once I have my piece, I'm just going to apply some more of the fabric glue, and then I'm going to lay my ribbon down. And then again, I will let that dry for at least a couple of hours before I turn the pillowcase inside out again. Burlap ribbon has dried nicely in place. Now my pillowcase did not have deep wrinkles in it, but if yours does, you may just want to iron the pillowcase out before you go ahead and lay your burlap ribbon down. But again, mine had just a few, so I will be ironing this before I stuff the pillow. So now the next step is an optional step, but I am going to do it because I want to add a little bit of color to my pillow. As well, I want the word grateful on my pillow. So what I did was I went into Google and I typed in the word grateful, and then a bunch of images came up, and this was the one I chose. So I just printed it out on a piece of cardstock. Then with my utility knife, I just cut it out, and you're going to need patience for this, but it came out really nice. So now I have my stencil. Then I went ahead and I took a placemat from the Dollar Tree. This is the one I used, and this side I will be using it for another pillow, but I wanted my word to be in orange. So I placed my stencil on the back of the placemat, just traced my word out. Once I had it traced out with a very sharp pair of scissors, I cut that out. And Then you are just going to place the word right in the center of the burlap. Now, because this cutout is very detailed and the fabric is very thin, it tends to move a lot and twist and turn, and for this you need a lot of patience as well to get it in place. But when you do finally have it in place, as I have here, I'm just going to take my fabric glue and very carefully I will just lift up a few places and then place some glue and just press it down. Once I have it where I want it, I will then continue with the rest of the word, like in this area above, and then just glue it down so that it is completely adhered to the pillowcase. I will give that a little bit of time to dry and then we will move on to the next step. I have turned my pillowcase inside out again. My wording has dried on the other side very nicely. So what I want to do at this point is I want to finish off my ends of the pillowcase with a nice hem. This way it looks a lot prettier when it's displayed on your sofa or on your bed. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to be turning the pillowcase. I just put one thumb on one end and one thumb in the other end, and I pull snug, and then I turn once. Now the area where the ribbon is, because I use this burlap ribbon that has wire in it, I kind of have to help this area along. So I just take this and turn it, and then I'll just clamp it to hold it in place. So again, I have my thumb on one end, my other thumb in the other end, and then again I turn it. So I've turned it twice, and then I'm just going to take some pins and pin that all in place. Okay, so now that I have it roughly pinned how I want it, I'm just going to take some more of the fabric glue, glue all that down, let that dry, and then we will move on to the next step. So my ribbon has dried on the inside and my seam is glued nicely in place. So I went ahead and I turned the pillowcase to the right side. Now we are going to stuff the pillow, but before I stuff the pillow, I'm going to make some jute twine braided rope that is going to tie both ends of the bolster pillow. So all I'm going to do is take my jute twine and I cut 3 even lengths. I tie it at the top and then I braid my rope. Once my rope is braided, I tie a knot at the bottom and I have my braided rope. Now the one that I made was approximately about 3 feet long because I'm going to wrap it around a couple of times and then tie my bow. So I wanted to make sure that I had a good length. Okay, so I have finished making my jute twine braided rope. Now I did make 2 of them. I have my elastics ready. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the one end of the pillowcase. I'm just going to bunch it up. I will then tie the elastic around it twice and I will begin stuffing my pillow. Now all I'm using is just a pillow that I had on hand that I'm just not loving anymore, and so I am repurposing that to use it for the stuffing for this pillow. Once I have stuffed the pillow, I will then do the same to this end, just bunch it up, take my elastic, tie it around, then I will take my jute twine rope and then I will tie it around the elastic, tie a bow, and the Dollar Tree bolster pillow will be complete. Okay everyone, so here is my Dollar Tree no-sew bolster pillows, and I absolutely love how these have turned out. I am so pleased. They definitely to me seem like something that you'd purchase in a home goods store. They are so beautiful. So as you can see, I made a couple more bolster pillows, but I did not put any writing on these. I just wanted to show you how pretty they look with just a simple ribbon across the front of it. And this ribbon happens to be one of my favorites. It is just so beautiful, this orange glitter ribbon that is in the back. But I tied it with the Grateful bolster pillow in the front just to tie the orange from the Grateful writing, and I think it works so nicely, and the black polka dots just happens to work so beautifully with my black pillows in behind, and I am absolutely loving these. I am so glad that I decided to make them. I'm just zooming in here a little bit on the jute twine braided rope that I made to tie off the ends. And I think it adds such a pretty simple rustic feel to these pillows, and I absolutely love it. I'm also so glad that I decided to try the fabric glue from the Dollar Tree. I am so pleased with how it applied, with how it dried, the flexibility of it, and definitely when I wash these, I will somewhere post an update of how they have held up. But I also love with these bolster pillows that, you know, if I want to, I can take the stuffing out. I just undo the jute twine braided rope, the elastics, take the stuffing out, wash them, and then put everything back in place. It's very quick to do, very simple, and I am so pleased with the outcome of these pillows. I really hope that you enjoyed this DIY. I hope you give it a try because they are definitely more beautiful than what they appear on camera. They are just gorgeous, and for very little money you can make something that looks much more expensive, and I definitely think that you get an enjoyment out of it when you make it yourself. It just adds so much more to it. So if you enjoyed this DIY, and I so hope you did, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And as always guys, take care, and I hope to catch you in my next video. Bye bye.